So I just recently uploaded my album Outside to YouTube, and it's been around for some months, and I just forgot to upload it to YouTube. But I thought, well, I haven't been doing any videos lately, so I could explain to people how I did the song Irrecoverable Error from the album, which is a glitch step, dubstep, drum step-ish kind of song. And I just wanted to explain that, so, I can bring some new content, and maybe there's some things here that I can explain that people didn't know before. So I hope you can learn something. If you're already an FL Studio Pro, maybe you want to see someone else just work in it. And even if you're not, then you're welcome to watch it. So I'm gonna switch to the computer and then continue. I'll just play it and I'll explain if I need to. So that was the beginning of the intro, and what I basically did there was just trying to build atmosphere, and it begins with, just like you can see, rain. It also begins with a thunderstruck. It's got some reverb on it, and just a bit of EQing, so, well, yeah, just EQing it a bit. And that settles, and then I got this verbonic sound, which, hello computer, which sounds like this. And what I did here was I slapped a wave shaper on it, because originally it sounds like this. And it's from Sakura Burst sample pack. So what I just did was reverse it, normalize it, and just fade the sound in a little bit. What I then did was put a wave shaper on it, and that was actually the wrong channel. Doesn't matter. The next thing I did was put a grow speed on it, so it's got this gate, and it's a third gate, or triplet gate, whatever you want to call it. And then of course tons of reverb, so it builds up more atmosphere. And also accompanying that one is a treble drum hit, which is also reversed, and is also a place for accentuation on every drum kick you can hear here. Well, that was basically the very first intro part. For this section I took some sound from Sakura Burst sample pack again. I think it's the first one, and it sounds like this. And I basically took it and stretched it to the tempo and put some declicking on it, which are these things, and so it lines up with the rhythm. Stuff like that. Then again the tribal drum hit, which is reversed, and a little crackle. Together with this reverse thing, which is then a click or snap or whatever, and it's just there for building up rhythm. And also this thing, just again for building up rhythm. Then we got the verbonic sound again. And also, I guess most importantly is the choir, which we can hear here. So it starts out like this. Build up the chord. more and more. Then add some more notes whilst still keeping the chord. Just to make it sound like really wide and just to give it more power. Then again, change the chord whilst still keeping the bass note. Doing the same thing again. And I really don't know much about chord progressions and stuff like that. It basically just sounded good. I played around with it for a bit. And yeah, that's basically the intro part. Then again, the verbonic sound and some harsh noise, which sounds like this. I'll put it down. So, oh, it's not too bad. And I really liked this part. So I thought, well, I can just put a higher pass on it, so it doesn't start out with all the bass in it. And that basically leads to the thing here, to the next part, which has got more, well, just more rhythm and again builds up more intensity. It sounds like this. And before I get to this build-up part, just for this verse, I guess, the drums are basically, the kick is basically the same, but it's accompanied by a shaker, which again is from Sakura Burst's sample pack. I used so much from it. Then also a snare, which is also from Sakura Burst's sample pack, which sounds like this. And yeah, I put some more, I think, yeah, I put a bit crusher on it, so it sounds like this, and also a tape stop for later on, for the drop, or before the drop, but I'll get to that in a minute. Then we've got reverse crackles. Which just gives a lot more of rhythm and texture to it. Then also here's a reverse sound, which is just some voice sample. I don't know where it's from, but I just reversed it and time stretched it very much. Sounds like this. Or I should say like this. Just from somewhere, I don't know. That reversed. Also again with the drum hit. Somehow it fits quite well, I think. What I forgot to mention was that here's some noise under the whole thing, which is very quiet. It's called something, it's from Tokyo Noise Channel. Cars crackling, something like that. Basically it continues until this verse part, and what I wanted to do here also was put more and more texture into it. So I've got the rain again, which is just, you know, cut out, looped. The kick, the shaker, the reverse things. Then we've got a gong. I got that from somewhere, I don't know from where. Then also this chime rattle, which again just gives much more texture. A weird rhythm thingy, also from Sakura Burst sample pack. Oh yeah, right, the lead. I'll get to that in a minute. And also a sub bass, which is bit crushed. Very hard. I'll just have to find it. It's this one. And it's got a lot of things on it, so I'll just go for it. So basically there's a bit crusher on it. Oh, I'll put all the other things away. Then a bit of chorus, which you can't really hear, but it's just for making the sound a bit wider. Then a stereo enhancer, which actually just makes it monophonic. So all that's stereo will just be put together to a mono channel. Then we've got a sidechain from the kick, which we can see in action, like this. Whoops, play the right thing. And I like sidechaining my things with EQs or other things, not doing that automatically, and I'm just more used to this. Yeah, then again, this is a P controller, just like on the kick. It converts the volume that it gets put in and converts it into a value between 0 and 1, and that value can then be used just like an automation clip in Fruity Loops, or yeah, just for anything. You can link it to something else and automate things. The last thing that's very important is this lead. Which also got tons of bit crushing on it. And I put that together in Harmor. Oh no, Gmus, what? Well, it's from some bass preset called Buzzin'. I think I changed some things of it, probably the second to first oscillator FM. Then I put lots of bit crushing on it, then overdrive, then reverb, then an EQ, so we can push the mids a little bit, and a tape stop also for before the drop. And yeah, this is just a volume control, because in the beginning it would be too loud. And together this thing, again, trying to focus a little on the chime rattle and the gong, sounds like this. So, before we get to the drop thing, this build-up is basically just the choir from before, which sounds like this. Then we've got a bass drop-off. Again, the chime rattle and the gong there. The melody is the only thing that should really be focused here. Then we've got a kick. Oh, yeah, well, 5 kicks, and these 4 got some delay on them, which I only put there, or in there, because I'm lazy. Actually, I think it's much more work to do it this way, but I automated the delay. You can actually still hear it in the background there. Also, I'm automating the crusher of the bit crusher of the lead. Yeah, again, reverse, treble hit, and the E sound and some crackles. Then again, the bass drop. And this snare reverse sound. Well, basically it's just there. It's pogoed quite heavily, actually all the way. It's just some snare. Yeah, it's reversed, pogoed, time stretched. It's just there to you can hear it yourself. So the only thing that actually gets pitched down or tape stopped is the choir. No, the lead. It's the lead. And then we got the tribal drum hit again. So yeah, it stops and then it starts. Then the drum hit basically transitions everything to the next kick. For the drums here, what I wanted to do was basically a build-up that was not, well, just kind of a normal build-up where you have your kicks and stuff and they get faster and faster, like this. Accompanying that is the snare being pitched up, as you can hear. And also the lead is stopped again. And also here the snare has its tape stop, so it gets pitched down, and a reverse snare. The volume of the drums will be toned down a little, so they hit harder in the drop itself. So that's the build-up. So that's the drop for you. So I kept to a quite simple beat for the drums, which sounds like this. Also you can hear that the drum is being pitched down gradually, and in the end is pitched up again, also with the tape stop again. What I should note at this point is that on the kick there's also a wave shaper. I think I said that already. No, it's not even the kick. It is the kick. Okay, so this wave shaper is just for distorting the sound. It fits this kind of music. It fits the song at least, because you know you can't really have lush kicks when you really want to have harsh noise, especially later on in the song. So yeah, let's get to the basses. The first thing here is a resampled bass, which originally sounds like this. It's also from Sakura Boss sample pack, playing with Serum and FX. It's the fourth sample of bass, and I stretched it with the E2 mono algorithm and also pitched that up a little, so it sounds like this. And yeah, combined with the kick, it sounds like this. What I shouldn't probably note is it's got a bit of effects. It's got a wave shaper. Without the wave shaper, it sounds like this. and with a wave shaper it sounds like this. So it basically just boosts up the sound, distorts it, stuff like that. And an EQ, so for taking out the lower mids, or upper bass, I guess, because I think it was too heavy. Yeah, that frequency were there, I didn't want it, so I cut it out, or at least made it a little bit quieter. Then the snare, on which the bass stops, and there's this stretched, and I don't know what I did to it. It's stretched, it's pitched up, it's the same algorithm, the EQ mono. It's got, again, EQing and reverb on it, so it sounds like this. And that's basically just for creating dynamics with the rhythm. So we've got the kick, there's the sound, snare, it goes away, but there's still this afterglow, I guess. It's just fading out. And it's creating lots of space because it's panned to the left and right. As you can hear, it's a very wide sound. And so that happens. Then reverse kick. And here also, again, from Sakura Burst sample pack, some stabs, which sounded like this originally, but well, yeah, I chose the E2 speech algorithm and time stretched it so it fits rhythmically, and pitched it up and normalized it, of course, so it's louder, and again wave shaping it like crazy. So we get this really crunchy, distorted sound together with the thing before. It sounds like this. And that just basically creates a transition for this next resampled bass. And again, I put in, or I chose the E2 speech algorithm because that just dismantles the sound quite much. Then again, time stretched it, and again pitched it up, did some things to it. It's also wave shaped quite heavily, as you can see. Oh, not that heavily, but it's wave shaped. It's limited because I think it was too quiet. Yeah, playing it again. Here I just wanted to create a sequence where the bass is like torn down, pitched down. This part is just from a resampled bass. Again, it sounds originally like this. Again, from Sakura Burst sample pack, I took so many things from it. Pitched it down, used the E2 mono, and wave shaped it again like crazy. And EQ'd some things, so it sounds like this. Then that basically fades into these other resampled sounds, which sound like this, and originally like this, and also wave shaping everything, limiting, making it a little bit louder. And here's basically some kind of distorted metal hit. Yeah. Then again, resampled bass, again the same procedure. It sounded like this, and then like this, which was just a bit of wave shaping, and again limiting it. Oh, was so here is just a reversed bass thing. It sounded like this. And then again with pitching and the mono algorithm and wave shaping, it sounds like this. And I really liked that. So you've got like something going on the first beat, or the first two beats, and then there's this kind of silence, which is atmospheric again. So I did the same thing again, starting from this bar, and that again leads to another resampled thing. It's a kick, which sounds like this, also from Suckerbus sample pack. I stole like everything from him. And yeah, again, the mono algorithm, pitching it up a little bit, reversing, using pogo again, which without it would sound like this, and with it sounds like this. So you can hear it gets pitched down towards the end. And yeah, then we've got this resampled bass on the right, which sounded like this before. And it's basically again the pogo effect, which without it would sound like this. But I put the pogo effect on there, and so it gets pitched down. Also, they got a tape stop there, so yeah, it gets stopped towards the end. Again, reverse snare to transition to the next snares. They get pitched up and the tape stop. Then I took a Cora from Suckerbus sample pack, which sounds like this. It's just that sound looping. And I took two of those, one which sounds like this, and the other one which sounds like this. The only thing I really did was pitch it down and put some reverb on it, EQ'd it a little bit and just made it louder, and put on a crusher and set the bit depth really low, so without that it would sound like this, but with the bit depth on like 2 bits it sounds like this. It's just for giving it more texture and destroying the sound a little more. Also, we've got sub bass here, which transitions into another resampled bass, and the choir again, which is bit crushed like hell. If I can find it, there it is. So it's just got a wave shaper on it, and yeah, it really does some stuff to the sound. Then we've got another resampled bass, which in this rhythm sounds like this. Again, resampled basses from Suckerbus sample pack, reversed that, and yeah, just did some time stretching to it and probably wave shaping again. Yep, wave shaped it so it's really distorted. Then again, resampled bass, which sounds like this originally. It's just a very short sound, but it's time stretched very harshly, pitched up, and again the speech algorithm. So it then sounds like this. You can get this sound, I like it so much. Yeah, simply if you time stretch something with the speech or mono algorithms, you know, at first it sounds like this, and you can time stretch it, and the more you stretch it, the more it begins to get a rhythm on its own. You know, it just kind of, yeah, you can hear it for yourself. And pitching around, which doesn't really affect the speech all that much. But for example, if you select the mono one, it does. So here, as you can also see, it changes not as fast. But here you can kind of ring modulate. I know it's not ring modulating, but it or it is. I don't know. I don't know ring modulation, but you can do these things with it. Anyways, we've got that one. Again, the same bass, but pitched up by an octave. So here we got some reversed sounds, which sound like this. And then changed the pitch of it, like you can hear here. This is the first one. And then just pitched it down with the mono algorithm, which I showed already. And so yeah, it just changes the sound again. And this middle thing, which I used just because it does its thing before the kick. So it has its own very own frequency, and it just accentuates that one frequency. So yeah, it sounds like this. Then just the choir holding out on its own, which creates a bit of suspense, which I then used to again translate into this build-up, which is basically just this thing, but rendered out. And you know, just to save some RAM and CPU, and I faded it in. So yeah, it originally sounds like this. Whoops. But then fading it in. Whoops, fading it in. And that leads us to the drum step-ish part. I'm just gonna play this one again so it can transition better. So basically what I did here was I took some kind of drum loop. Then again the drums and the snares being pitched down, with the difference being that this is a more drum step-ish kind of rhythm. And again, we've got our resampled basses. Most of them were reused or time stretched in a different way. For example, like this. Or this sample from the beginning again. Or this one, which we also had. And yeah, just combining all of those. I took the sub bass from all of those so I could put my own sub bass in here. Also working with the slide notes very much. And also I should mention that this sub is basically just sine wave, and it's got a bit of attack on there. Yeah, then again we've got just tons of resampled things. Again, this one we already saw in the first part of the drop, which is this thing. And yeah, then again here, again a little break just to make things more interesting from a rhythmic perspective. And these things we already had. This is the metal thing, but reversed. And having done some stuff to it, so some things to it, so pitching it down, and then this thing again. Now here again is just resampled basses and stretched in different ways. Hello Discord. Then again we've got this resampled bass on the left and right ear, which are basically just there. Opposite to the thing I did before was pitching the snare up, and here I'm pitching it down. Drum loop I had here is basically accompanying the whole thing just to give it a bit more of rhythm and some things in the mid and height. Then again we've got the chora and stuff like that. Just so, you know, you've got elements that you clearly can remember, and it just makes you feel more familiar with that part of the song. So here it was normal halftime, and here it's the drum step-ish thing. So you can hear that, and then again the suspense. Again with this metal thing that just basically does its own thing, just to create that very loud tone. And some resampled bass again. But so harshly resampled that, you know, you just can't hear any of the actual bass from it anymore. Then again, the resampled bass, the sub bass is doing its own thing, the snare. And we're back in the verse. The only things that change here are that there's a riser, which is also from Zuckerberg. His samples are, or his sample packs are just very, very good. Then basically this build-up is the same again. We've got this noise thing, which I already showed, and the only thing is this riser, which sounds like this. Oh, I should play the resampled version. And it builds up to this point, and then I reversed it, and it goes down. I just cut out some of the lows, tons of bit crushing on it, so it's just 1.3 bits of bit depth, and, you know, just some basic or simple EQing, some reverb to make it a little wider in space, and then we get to our verse again. Now, for this build-up, basically I took the lead and I pitched it up an octave. You've got this sound, and the higher you go, and at some point it just turns into noise. So when you push and pull this sound, basically by pitching it or sliding the notes, yeah, you can create kind of a motion, and this motion is basically accompanied by getting noisier and noisier the further you go. So at first the melody sounded like this. But now going up an octave, it sounds like this. But the rest of the build-up is basically the same, except for the drums at the end. So basically just trying to fuck up the sound by creating a snare that loops so fast that it creates its own tone again, and then gets pitched down and reversed. So it transitions into the next kick once more. Now for the next drop, that's the harsh noise thing I was talking about. Basically this is a resampled bass. Just time stretched the hell out of it. It sounds like this. It's the same bass I used multiple times before. The main thing I did with it was stretch it so hard that you can only hear, or that you can most prominently hear, the upper frequencies of it, together with a bass drop, which is pogoed in the same way. Again, we've got this sound, then it transitions to this thing. So I came up with this thing. I just shuffled around some of the songs, some of the sounds I could use, which got some kind of voice texture to it. Smashing these around just creates this kind of computer voice-ish thing. And, well, that's just arranged in triplets, which aren't perfect. And then, again, getting into a rhythm with the kick, which actually isn't really some sort of rhythm. I just made that up, and I thought it sounded good. So, you know, you've got this thing, it sounds like it's hanging up, then it's this rhythmic thing. And then we've got the kick, which isn't in any normal kind of rhythm, but then again transitions to the snare and the thing we know already from before. So it's the same kind of rhythm for the second drop. Put in something that's different, and that also gets pitched down, so it, you know, sounds like something that's dying. I don't know. It's again this sound, but pitched up. And time stretched very harshly, so we get this sound that just gets pulled down. Then a snare that's a bit crushed heavily, and again the tape step, and I just put in some kicks where it's this thing from the first drop was this kind of texture, and I just time stretched that again, put it in here to get this yeah, that's the bass, and then the bass drop, which you can't really hear, and yeah, this is basically just creating texture and rhythm with these things repeating, whilst that is happening, we've got the choir here. Oh yeah, right, it's this tab, it's the transgate. So without it, it sounds like this. Basically just the normal sound, but this just gates the sound. And that just creates a kind of pulsating thing for the melody, and it just gets a bit crushed so much that you can still hear the melody, but it's, well, just really harsh. So that builds up. Then we've got a reverse snare, which is also pogoed. And basically it's just building up, and to the point where it's, again, its own tone, and my CPU is completely dying. The snare at the end, just to be a snare at the end, to give rhythm to it again, because for some people this would be too rhythmic, and if I just went over or transitioned into the next drop, some piece would be missing that would indicate that there's the next drop. So this sounds like this. Then again, this thing from this second drop, and it's just wave shaped really, really harshly. Turned up all the way, so you've got this very, very harsh sound. Just very, very harsh noise on this bass kind of thing. The thing we already had before, but even more distorted and more rhythmic because there's more layers of it. Then again, I just put in some of these things, of these steps, just for making it repeat the same way as it did the last time. Which actually is just triplets. Then it goes back through this kind of destroyed drum beat again. Here again, resampled bass, just tons of distortion or wave shaping on it. Yeah, just a wave shaper. Creating suspense again because there isn't much going on. And well, the second part is basically the same one as before, just it sounds more a bit crushed. You know, it just accentuates, my English is bad, the first few beats of this part. Then we've got the snare from before, which sounds like this. And then it's tape stop. And then we've got a kick and harsh noise, which is basically a kick sound, which I already time stretched and used somewhere before. Then pogoed it so it gets, yeah, just pitched down towards the end again. You just have this kind of electronic noise, which again is this big crunchy kick, but with some bit crushing on it, or wave shaping or something. Yeah, it's wave shaping again. And so it sounds like this. And just repeating that sound a little bit, and that's basically the whole song. Sorry for ending the video quite abruptly, I just didn't do any kind of outro of sorts, so I'm gonna do that now. I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got feedback or just want to comment, then you can leave that down in the comments. It's the first time I've done this kind of explaining thing, so If you also enjoyed it, then maybe you can leave a like. Shows me that I can do more of this. If you didn't like it, then again, just leave some criticism in the comments, and I greatly appreciate that. If you want to support me in any way, you can listen to my music or share my music or buy my music, I don't know, any of those. And that's basically it. Thank you again very much for watching, and I hope I can see you in the next video. Bye bye.